Hello world, I'm Chris Pirillo, sitting in the same seat that I was sitting in, the same chair, the same virtual spot that I was sitting in 10 years ago when Apple unleashed the iPhone. And I sat here and I said I wasn't going to get an iPhone on its launch day because I was so accustomed to crappy products, crappy hardware, crappy software, crappy design, crappy everything, crap, junk, nah, meh, works well enough, features, that I thought there was no way, this was going to be any different. I was wrong. Not because the iPhone was this piece of hardware, this new piece of hardware, which, by comparison, was radically underspec, when you looked at its contemporaries. In every way, shape, or form. It wasn't the hardware that won me over. It's never been about the hardware that's won me over. Never. It's about the software. It's the way it always has been for me. It's why I don't surround myself with gadgets, why I don't care about technology for what it is. I only care about what technology can do. That's not going to change. It was the software that won me over. The first iPhone, it was the software. It was one swipe. That was it. That was it. The bar was raised so high. I could not believe what I was holding on to. I can't think of another time that in between that period and today, 10 years later, that I've felt, overwhelmed is probably the wrong word, awestruck by a piece of technology. And it's not slagging Apple for not being innovative. I think that's a really dumb argument to try to make. Innovation comes over time. It comes incrementally, just like hardware and just like software. I might add that 10 years after the release of the iPhone, we're still surrounded by junky products and junky software and junky hardware and junk crap, tech, junk crap. In fact, there's more of it now than there ever has been. All the more reason that you should not be thinking that you need to be having more of it in your life. You need to be thinking you need to have less of it in your life. I've been detailing a lot of that and talking about tech, thoughts, perspectives, opinions on chrispirillo.com, so you can't sit there and say, well, I miss you, Chris, talking about this stuff. I'm talking about it. Not just with you, with everybody, really, but also for patrons every day, chrispirillo.com. So you can hear about it. There's really nothing to miss if it's already there. So thank you to all my patrons who are making it possible for me to even sit here and talk to you like this. No joke. I feel differently about technology today than I did 10 years ago, than I did 20 years ago when I started talking about technology and sharing perspectives and thoughts and discoveries with people. Because technology's changed. Its role in our lives. We now carry the PC with us. This smartphone is a PC. It's a personal computer. How more of a personal computer can you get? How much more? It's more of a personal computer when you carry it with you, is what I'm trying to say. Sometimes this comes out a little more eloquently in writing rather than just recording it in a live capacity. I have used just about every iPhone since it's released. Maybe I should be writing this down. I can go back and edit. And I hate editing video. That's why I'm just going to keep rolling forward. Life is unedited, by and large. I feel differently about the iPhone today and react differently today than I did 10 years ago. So the first experience I had with the iPhone was just amazing. The software was just so beautiful. I'm not even talking necessarily about its design. The design ultimately won me over as well. I was one who never had a problem with skeuomorphism. It just worked well. It was smooth. It was clean. It just worked. And I loved that. I loved it. Now, Apple is a different company. There's really no other way of putting it. It just is absolutely a different company. It may care about software, but it cares about it in a different capacity. It builds software to sell hardware, and now builds the hardware to help others sell software so that they, of course, generate revenue. It's their business model. I'm not going to slag them for that. I've always been platform agnostic. I'm agnostic in many areas of my life. Politically, religiously, technologically. I don't view technology as a religion. Some people do. Some people see their devices as their gods. I think that's a mistake. So I'm not someone who necessarily feels the need to fill the gaps where those gaps exist. Apple changed from that company that delivered the first underpowered phone, from providing a good experience where the software eked out every ounce of performance from the hardware, to today, where Apple is now continuously throwing new hardware, faster hardware, at an underlying software problem. Does the software work? Yes. Does it crash less? I'm sure. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the rampant issues of frame skips, frame drops, animation jank, problems and shortcomings that even the diehard fans would go after other products for. Apple is now surfacing itself, and I don't know if it's going to change. Honestly, I mean, the feeling I had when I first touched the latest iPhone that's been released, and that was about a year ago, the iPhone 7 and the 7 Plus, it was almost a completely opposite feeling than I had the first time I touched an iPhone. So it's not that I'm saying that the hardware's gotten worse. It hasn't. The hardware's gotten better, but specs are largely irrelevant. It's not about the quality of the hardware. It's about the quality of the software being able to, perform well on any given hardware. And I don't think that Apple's focus is necessarily on improving the underlying software experience in terms of performance, because it's not changing the behavior. Why improve something where you've got a law of diminishing returns? It doesn't matter if it gets improved. We'll just throw new features at it. And maybe we'll improve it as we go along, but probably not, because I haven't seen it yet. They just keep throwing new hardware at a software problem, and the software problem still exists, even with new hardware, even with new capabilities of hardware. But when you've got a technology like ProMotion, which can effectively impact the refresh rate in a positive way, still surfacing skips and jumps and jitter, the problems are now even more apparent than they were before. Physician, heal thyself. Apple's been promising something that I don't think they've been delivering on, 60 frames per second. It changed with iOS 7, and that's when my excitement became attenuated. This isn't about any other company. It's not about any other platform. I'm not into that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about one thing. I'm talking about the iPhone 10 years later. How I see it differently than I did in the beginning, even for the first few years, up until the release of iPhone, the first iPhone with iOS 7. They've had plenty of time, and I'm disappointed in Apple, because they are the company that set the bar so incredibly high. It's not that they can't do it. It's that they aren't. It's not that they haven't done it, because they had. That's where I get agitated. Not because I'm, pointing out these issues, and I'm far from the only one. It's that I'm pointing them out in the hopes that they're going to get addressed in one way, shape, or form. But in filing radar after radar, that's their bug tracking system, which is really in sore need of being upgraded. It's just gone into a black hole. So what's the point? Why should I get excited about something that seriously just does not excite me? I understand it. I understand a lot about technology and the choices that we make and the choices that are out there, and changes to hardware and software and experiences and services, etc. I get it. And maybe it's because I had something that genuinely, in a positive way, surprised me. Now it's surprising me, but in a near appalling capacity. It's not about the new hardware. Never has been for me. Never will be. I want less of it, not more. That's why I don't surround myself with devices. Just don't. They were meant to be upgraded, right? And you hope for a better experience in the next iteration, but I ain't seeing it. There's where we are 10 years later with the iPhone. Who knows where we're going to be?